Concussions in youth sports are becoming a bigger and bigger problem each year, but there may be a solution currently in the works, and it's right here in Wilmington. WWAY's Dustin Dorsey joins us now with more in a WWAY special report. Dustin, I know you've been working hard on it.
Amanda, the problem with concussions is that many go undiagnosed due to a lack of awareness and a lack of inaccurate diagnostic tools. But a company here in Wilmington created a pair of apps to eliminate confusion and help empower parents. What was shrugged off as getting your bell rung or shaking loose the cobwebs is now a serious matter, with millions of concussions reported among youth athletes in the U.S. each year.
A significant number of these individuals, up to about 75% is estimated, actually are sort of mild in nature. And because they're mild in nature, it means many of these individuals aren't going to show up to be evaluated formally.
That's where the problem lies. Due to the mild symptoms, many young players return to the field prematurely, which opens them up to much worse issues.
They dramatically increase the likelihood that you will have a more severe neurological problem later in life.
There has never been a system in place that eliminated the concussion confusion surrounding the diagnosis, treatment, and legal requirements of dealing with head injuries. Until now.
So what the SportGait had done is to combine few tests together to get an objective data. One, to have a baseline data, and then if somebody has concussion, to diagnose concussion.
Wilmington-based SportGait has done this by creating two apps. The parent app assesses signs of concussions and allows parents to input symptoms to help get the athlete to the correct medical care.
Because what we really want to do is make sure that concussion is not dealt with on the sideline, it's in the American medical system.
Chris Newton and Tobin Getz helped develop this app because they said most concussion apps only focus on either education or data capture. None have brought both together to focus on getting an athlete to the right care when they cannot always get it.
We wanted to make the focus on the 36 million youth athletes where there's no medical people at their sporting events, most of which are practiced during the middle of the week.
All of this allows for the proper management, both the diagnosis and then post-care, because that's as important, of course, as how we handle this after the fact. So getting into medical professionals with professional level tests that are reliable and standardized.
Those tests come from the second app from SportGait, the medical app. This app is used by medical professionals on the specific patient to get the data and information on exactly how the patient is doing.
So we're now given the tools where you can use data-driven results to measure concussion and recovery of concussion.
This is done with the use of very specific sensors. Dr. Mark Williams created these small flat devices, no bigger than a watch, to study the gait or movements of the patient suffering from a concussion.
These sensors create a tracing in the same way that an electrocardiogram gives the cardiologist a 12-lead EKG, so that by capturing how you move, it can give us insights in terms of orthopedic problems, neurologic problems, and fits perfectly into SportGait's business model in coming up with an objective, wearable, non-invasive way to get some very critical information.
This test works by comparing a prior baseline study of the patient's gait, or by using normative data to compare movements following a concussion. This allows doctors to read results and make the right medical decisions.
So now having a system like this, you could absolutely measure when it's safe to go back to not only play, but back to school.
The medical app is currently being tested for use paired with the parent app at MedAct locations in Wilmington.
If they do have a child that's injured, that they have a place they can come to that's available to them, that's a lesser cost to them, and that we can actually put them into the pathway of managing the concussion protocol with different physicians that we work with locally to make sure the child is taken care of properly.
A lot of worry surrounds children in sports, particularly football, due to the findings Dr. Bennett Omalu made on the dangers of concussions to the brain among NFL players. But Newton, a parent of two youth athletes, hopes with SportGait that worry can subside.
I look at all the benefits and life lessons you get out of sports, and I think that far outweighs the risks of injury, including concussion. But we have to be smart about it, and now if we have the tools where you can measure, I think I feel a little bit better that my kids are playing at a high level.
The SportGait app is available now on iTunes and Android Store. For information on downloading, log on to our website at wwaytv3.com. Amanda?